What if your midlife crisis isn't a breakdown, but a breakthrough? That's the powerful message behind 5 of the most insightful books on midlife transformation. Each one reveals a different side of the midlife puzzle, showing how this stage isn't the end of your story. It's a reset. Whether you're struggling with burnout, success fatigue, or just a quiet sense that something's missing, these books speak directly to that feeling. Let's begin with The Middle Passage by James Hollis. This is not light reading, but it's deeply rewarding. Hollis, a Jungian psychologist, argues that the first half of life is mostly scripted by parents, culture, and expectations. Midlife is when those scripts stop working. The achievement of maturity, he says, requires a fundamental confrontation with one's own inner life. He describes midlife not as a crisis, but as a spiritual and psychological reckoning. Divorce, career changes, and even depression are all part of this passage. This book has a 4.5-star rating and is often called life-changing by readers who are ready to dig deep. Then there's From Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks. Brooks is a Harvard professor who noticed something alarming in his late 40s. He wasn't as sharp as he used to be. He panicked. But his research led him to a hopeful discovery. Our brain changes, but not for the worse. We move from fluid intelligence, fast thinking, to crystallized intelligence, wisdom. Brooks says the key is not to cling to the first half of life, but to embrace the second. Happiness, he writes, comes not from holding on, but from letting go. One of the most powerful moments in the book is when a world-famous musician gives up the stage to mentor others and finds deeper fulfillment. The book holds a 4.7 rating and has been praised for being both scientific and soulful. Next, Life Reimagined by Barbara Bradley Hagerty takes a more journalistic approach. A former NPR reporter, Hagerty hit her own wall in her 50s and decided to investigate what happens to people during midlife. What she found is both fascinating and hopeful. Many people reinvent themselves in their 40s, 50s, even 60s. One woman tells her, midlife isn't a crisis, it's a springboard. Hagerty blends neuroscience, interviews, and her own personal journey to show that midlife is full of possibilities if you're willing to look. With a 4.3 rating, readers say the book is full of relatable stories and grounded advice, not just theory, but action. The Happiness Curve by Jonathan Rauch shifts the focus to science and data. Rauch discovered that across cultures, happiness follows a U-shape. People are generally happy in their youth, hit a slump in their 40s and early 50s, then climb back up. That slump, he says, isn't failure. It's biology. I wasn't depressed, he writes. I was normal. That simple insight has helped thousands. The book features real people who thought they were alone in their frustration, only to discover they were part of a global pattern. One man says, I had everything I wanted, and I still felt hollow. That moment of honesty is what this book is full of. With a 4.5-star rating, it's one of the most reassuring reads for anyone feeling stuck in midlife. Finally, The Second Mountain by David Brooks explores what happens after we reach our goals and still feel empty. Brooks says life has 2 mountains. The first is about success, achievement, and status. The second is about meaning, service, and deep relationships. He writes, joy is found on the far side of sacrificial love. Brooks shares stories of people who walked away from high-paying jobs or public fame to do something more rooted in community. He also opens up about his own struggles, his divorce, his loneliness, and his path to rediscovering purpose. With a 4.4 rating, readers describe this book as deeply moving and profoundly hopeful. Each of these books shows a different face of the same journey. They all say the same thing in their own way. Midlife isn't the beginning of the end. It's the end of pretending, and the beginning of living on your own terms. If you're in that strange space where life looks good on paper but feels off inside, these books won't just explain why. They'll help you build a better next chapter. And maybe the crisis you're feeling isn't a crisis at all. Maybe it's your real self finally trying to speak up. This is Intellings, where books open the door to the life you were meant to live.